Well, and originally that's how my collection got started. One of my cousins that taught me how to play the game just gave me a bunch because he didn't want to get rid of his collection, but he also didn't want to keep it on him. And I'm like, sure, I'll keep him. Sure, why not? Um, yeah, that's fine. So this price changed. See, this time I can actually just go to market price because that's at a quarter value. Um, Take out one of the cleansers. Gosh, what was I saying? Sorry, my brain's just a mess right now. But yeah, my collection started largely as like inherited stuff, but over time I started collecting myself, and then I started spending too much money on cards because I have a problem that I don't want to fully address. The issue is, like, I could sell my entire collection and make a decent amount of money off of it, but the problem with that, though, is find a buyer that would be willing to pay the value of it. That's the real trick. Because, like, sure, I could sell it, I could take it to a store and be similarly to what I'm doing here, being undercut horribly, because the store has to make money too. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Yeah. Well, I've got a second. As any good retailer would do, I'm gonna get on my phone on the job. Of course. Yeah, exact change. Yes and no. For a long time, I didn't have anyone to play the game with, though, because my cousin had largely stopped playing. My brother, who used to play when we were kids, dropped out from playing. My best friend, who I even at the time rarely saw, he didn't play. He got into it briefly during a time when we weren't hanging out that much, just because distance, because I was living in another town and we just didn't see each other or really talk that much. So for like a long time, I didn't have anyone to play with. It wasn't until I was with one of my exes, when her and I were still together. She saw my collection and she asked some questions about it and convinced me to go to a hobby shop and play at one of the Friday Night Magic events. Largely to get me out of the house, like to let me be less of a recluse. And then just by happenstance, I met a few guys when I worked for Walmart that played. Actually, I met them because this is my D&D group, because that's how we met. We met through D&D, and then it turned out that like more than half of the people that were in the original play D&D group played Magic. Like only 2 of the original 5. Is that right? Is that how many there were? 5. Yeah, 5. 4 players in a DM. Yeah, 5. Of us original 5, 3 of us played Magic. 1 used to play Magic but refused to play anymore because he just got kind of burnt out from it or turned off from it. And the other one had never gotten into the game. we have essentially bullied him into playing the game now. He now spends questionably too much money on it, but he's also much more financially secure. He's better with his money management, where he has expendable income to spend on cards, which is good for him. I'm only gonna offer you $1. Cool, go away. But yeah, for like a long time, I had all the cards, but not all the cards. I had so many cards, but no one to play the game with. The girl that got me back into playing it, actually, she wanted to learn how to play the game because her stepbrother and stepsister played a version of it, which I had never actually played. And now it's like the primary version that I play with my friends. Because that's just how it works sometimes. Oh. Sorry, sir. Yeah, ironically enough, I taught her how to play, and I taught her how to play the way that I was playing at the events, which is the 60 card version. There's a 100 card version that the 100 card version is the way I play now, but 60 card version was the way I was playing at the time. I used to know how to play the Pokemon card game, but largely when I was collecting it, it was just for the sake of collecting, because I was collecting Pokemon when I was younger. But then it got to a situation to where, because I was getting into collecting Magic, my parents were like, okay, well, it's your allowance money, so you're going to have to choose which one you want to spend your money on. Which is fair. It's reasonable, I suppose. And so, that being the case, my brother ended up with a lot of the Pokemon cards for a while, and I ended up with the Magic cards, which the thing was that we had them, but we weren't the best at maintaining them, so like there wouldn't, I mean, at the time when my brother sold the, I'm pretty sure it was my brother that sold them, maybe it was our parents at a garage sale, but when we got rid of our Magic cards, or not Magic cards, goodness, we got rid of our Pokemon cards, they weren't worth anything because they weren't in that great of condition, because we just had them. Just kind of had them as we could. Didn't have very many binders to like properly store them in. Weirdly enough, my mom had asked me at one point about if I still had Magic cards, or not Magic cards, Pokemon cards. Get my games mixed up now. If I still had any of the old Pokemon cards, because she had heard about how valuable they had become. I'm like, no. Like, one, no, and two, no. They, we didn't have them anymore, and they wouldn't have been worth it. Well, and that's the thing, like, some of them, even not in mint condition, could be worth something. Like, you just have to, you'd want to look up, you'd want to try to look it up online first to see what the normal, like, fresh out of the pack rate would be. And then you can kind of gauge from there if it's worth looking into. If that makes any sense. This guy's selling me a card. Should be 35. I'm going to sell it for 35. This is gonna make my mom sound horrible, and it's not meant to, but like, there have been times growing up, like, there have been times now that I've grown up and now that I've been out of the house for a while, where my mom will ask about some of the old things we used to collect because some of them gained value over time. And I think she was hoping that if we had held on to any of those things, like the hoarders we were, yeah, we might be able to sell it for some money. But sadly, we did not. A lot of the stuff that could, weirdly enough, a lot of the stuff that nowadays would be considered valuable, that you could have, as you would say, make a retirement fund out of, we sold at garage sales because no one used them anymore. Of course, they were well used at the time anyway, so they wouldn't have fetched full value. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's kind of annoying because like there was a point when VHS copies of the old Disney movies were, if they were in good condition, you could make some money off of. And my mom asked if like, hey, if I still had our old VHS. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure we all sold them all at the garage sales ages ago. No, well, I pulled up my phone for here to the side, and I'll make mention of it. Excuse me, sir, can you get out of my bubble? Weird. What I was pulling up was the current value of my Magic collection, which is higher than what I expected it to be, and I'm even more disgusted by it. I was going to make mention of it, but I'm going to finish this day out before I go do stuff like that. Yeah, we had stuff like that too. Of course, we also were bad about not keeping things packaged. I think the first time I actually kept like a action figure or something like that in plastic was a Lord of the Rings Aragorn figure, which I might still have in a box somewhere, assuming I haven't sold it. I don't think it's worth anything because I don't think it was ever considered like a major collector's item. But it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is a big deal, so I'm just going to keep it packaged, I guess. I do not believe it's worth that much. Let's see what how much is that worth? It's worth 634. You're selling for 615. I can do 615. I can do 615. There you go. Take the money and get out of my store. Y'all need to get out of my personal space, weirdos. Yeah, and that's see the sentimental value thing. That's been my argument for why I'm a hoarder. Like I don't just pack rat everything. Because yeah, to a degree, yeah, there was some sentimental value, but then after a while, it does become just stuff that you don't really have space for. 550. Oh, there's someone that comes into my store smelling like butt. I don't have a automatic sprayer yet. So it is something to keep note of, because if you let someone who has the stink, you will get complaints about your store in the review section. So your Yelp reviews will go down. I didn't do it so much. I haven't done it so much yet because I'm trying to get more product out. But something that I did start doing in one of my other save files is start investing more into the tables, because people will make use of that even if they don't buy too much product off the shelf. No, I don't have that much money. I can already tell from the value of the card. I already know it's. Excuse me, sir. I gotta close the store. gotta wait for these guys to get out of here. There we go. Cool. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna end the day. I'm not doing well financially in this game right now. I feel like in my last save file I did much better. It's fine. Nope. $50, that's what I want. Boom. Okay. Paid bills. It's done. I got $200. Let's see. Do one of those. Do that. I'm essentially prepping my store for the day, but I'm probably going to end stream before too long. Spread out a little bit. Okay. So. Nope. Wrong button. There we go. That's it. So. These are the other game files I have. Cartographer's Lair, which I'm pretty sure is an actual game store in the area, or was at least at one point. That was my first save file. The second save file, you can see, much better money-wise comparatively to this one. I just named it after myself because, you know, sure. And now we got bargain bin cards, or bargain bin games. I'm gonna exit out of this.